Hi everybody, I know this review is unscheduled, but I just finished watching the 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony last night and thought I would chime in with a little review. Now I had been watching the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony for years, going back to 2000 or 1999 is when I started watching them, and for years I had been taping them to keep a record of the inductions, and then they started showing them on HBO, and the nice thing about the HBO broadcasts is that they are commercial free, so you get the whole thing and not all chopped up into pieces. Um, Now, as far as the this year's induction ceremony goes, for the most part, it was very, very good, and for the most part, I approved of this year's class of inductees. Um, some of those included Pat Benatar and Neil Girardo, Dolly Parton, and we'll get to her section in a moment. Um, Judas Priest, uh, and Carly Simon, and the only thing that I don't approve of, or that I didn't approve of, is the induction of rap artists like Eminem, because, and I have been very vocal about this for years, because rap is not rock and roll, so therefore, um, rap artists should not be included into the Hall of Fame, included into the Hall of Fame, and I don't know uh, what the board members were thinking, and and even I was kind of surprised. Well, I was kind of surprised during his induction speech. Eminem admitted, he openly admitted that he was not a rock and roller, and then he went on to list every influence that he ever had in his career, and I think he went on entirely too long, and his performance went entirely too long too. The only bright spot of his performance was the kind of a duet that he did with Steven Tyler. The rest of it was not. The rest of it was just unwatchable. Um, but some highlights for me, um, on the rock and roll side were the induction of Eurythmics, Dave Stewart, and Annie Lennox, and for some reason I thought they had gotten in a couple years ago, but and I was pleasantly surprised to to find out that they hadn't, and I was hoping that they would perform, and because I have heard that they that they hadn't been getting along or have any interest in a reunion tour for years. Actually, Dave or Annie said that in their induction speech, said that they hadn't toured or made a record in 20 years. So I was I was really I was really I was really stoked to see them get back together and perform. And they performed, among others, "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This," and um, and one of my favorite moments, though, is um, is was Sheryl Crow. Um, she inducted somebody, but I can't remember who. And then she performed part of Jolene with Dolly Parton and everybody else. When Dolly performed, and another highlight for me was, of course, Cheryl. Um, and and but the super highlight for me was the fact that Carly Simon was inducted. Now, for those of you that don't know, Carly did not attend or did not perform or attend the ceremony because of the death of both her sisters a day apart. But she did send a very moving speech in thanks for her being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And Sarah Bareilles was the one that inducted Carly, and she did a medley of I think "You're So Vain" and another one of Carly's songs. I did not expect Sarah Bareilles to be the one that inducted her, that was going to induct her. I was hoping it would be Ben or Sally, Carly's kids, Ben or Sally Taylor, but I was pleasantly surprised by Sarah Bareilles' reading of version of "You're So Vain." And oh, by the way, um, and another, and uh, they had for a couple years now, the Hall of Fame uh, has been inducting not only rock bands but producers and other uh, music industry heavyweights. And one of those was one of my favorite producers, a producer that I had first I had first he had been brought to my attention by his work with Stevie Nicks, and his name is Jimmy Iovine, and he had also worked, of course, with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Bruce Springsteen, and Patti Smith. And Bruce Springsteen was actually the one that inducted Jimmy Iovine. And you know, the one thing that I like whenever Bruce inducts somebody, his induction speeches are so kind of funny at times. He injects a lot of humor into those, and so I love watching Bruce inducting people, and he didn't disappoint. He when he inducted Jimmy, and another believe it or not highlight for me was the induction of Judas Priest by Alice Cooper. I'm not a Judas Priest fan. The only song I kind of halfway like is Walking Like a Hurricane or something like that. And they were inducted by Alice Cooper, and I thought his induction speech was very cool too. Oh, I remember who Sheryl Crow inducted: Pat Benatar, and in my estimation, Cheryl was the perfect person to induct Pat and Neil Girardo. I mean, because she personifies, she has that kind of Pat Benatar sound to a lot of her stuff. So she was the perfect person to induct them. And as far as Pat's performance goes, she did Heartbreaker and another one of her songs. I was really expecting her to do Hit Me With Your Best Shot, but she didn't. But one of the most moving parts of the induction was the induction of Duran Duran. I thought it was very very moving, because because one of the members, Andy Taylor, was not there for health reasons, but he sent a very moving statement, and but one of the big disappointments for me, though, was Lionel Richie's performance. His voice is shot. He did All Night Long, and Lenny Kravitz inducted him, which is Lenny's always been one of my favorites. I just like him. He's so cool. But one of the most surprising performances for me was at the end of the show during Dolly's set. They all did Jolene, and Rob Halpert of Judas Priest sung a verse, and I was like, that's a little weird. Heavy metal guy doing country, but anyway. Oh, by the way, I was really surprised about the fact that Pink inducted Dolly, but I thought she did a tremendous job in both her induction speech for Dolly and her performance of Coat of Many Colors and Jolene. Now the only downside to that, I was hoping that Miley Cyrus would be the one to induct Dolly, because she is Dolly's goddaughter, and I. But it was Pink that inducted her. But Miley did do a little portion of the tape, kind of like the biography, that they do for every performer, for every inductee. But one of the most saddest parts for me every year of the Hall of Fame induction is the in memoriam reel of the performers that are no longer here. Of course, they honored Taylor Hawkins, the Foo Fighters drummer, and Loretta Lynn, and Jerry Lee Lewis, Mary Wilson, and others, and that's always been very moving for me to watch. Same goes when they do it for the Oscars too. And so overall, aside from the rap performances, I really liked this year's Hall of Fame induction. And if you get a chance, it's on HBO, and check it out. And by the way, at the after this review, I will include a picture of all the inductees in the video, so you'll be able to see who else got inducted, because I didn't mention them all. So you'll be able to see that, and so I hope you get a chance to see the Hall of Fame induction ceremony.